Well, it's my great pleasure to be joined today by one of the most iconic athletes ever to play in this town, and I mean ever to play in this town, one of the very best athletes, Kyle Bekker. Bex is one of the, not just the best soccer, one of the best soccer players who's ever played in this town, but one of the most iconic and best athletes who's ever played in this town, one of the most accomplished. Third round choice in the MLS, a big soccer star at Boston College. He's won championships every league. I don't know if there's a league you've ever played in that you haven't won a title. He's five-time finalist for the Canadian Premier League, and that's in 8 years that this league has been going. 7 years, really. And 5 times he's been the finalist for Player of the Year, won it once. He's, I think, ranked second in appearances in the league, probably will end up first by the end of this year. But one of the things that has always pleased me about watching Kyle Bekker every day is his manner of leadership on the field. You can see it in the results of this team. It's an extraordinary 4-time champion, 6 times in the finals. And a lot of that has to do with Kyle Bekker and the manner in which he leads his team. Kyle, you're going to show us a different kind of leadership today. People who are astute soccer fans will notice that you are one of 6 players, 6 really good players who did not play in the opener on Saturday. And maybe you can tell us why that is.
Well, first off, those were some kind words there, Milton. I don't know if it's all true, but I appreciate it.
I could have gone on forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a few better athletes in this historic city than me, but I appreciate that. Yeah, usually when I think I'm sitting out in Forge games, it's usually a suspension.
Right. He says Riley.
There was no red card this time around, and a few weeks ago, or about a month or so now, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Something that kind of came out of nowhere. Was throwing a little bit of a curveball. Was very fortunate to catch it early and have the support of the fantastic doctors and staff that we're lucky to have here, part of Hamilton, and we just kind of snowballed from there. But 3 weeks ago had surgery. Everything's going well now, and just a little bit of a waiting game. Hopefully back on the field soon.
And where did you have the surgery, and maybe you can speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I had the surgery here in Hamilton at Juravinsky Hospital. Can't speak highly enough of the people there. Everything, again, it was a little bit of a whirlwind, but went very quick. And I think obviously that speaks to kind of the severity of the situation. I'm kind of just a roll with the punches kind of guy, and then you just realize you detect it. A few days later, you're in a meeting with the surgeon. A few days after that, you're getting ready to go under.
There are people watching this that are just doing this right now, and I think fear and maybe you could address that. I mean, certainly there must have been a fear factor for you when you first heard this. I mean, your son, yours and Kat's son, Ben, is what, 3 years old now?
Yeah, he'll be 3 in May.
And we had just been talking, I think a few days earlier, you and I, about the way fatherhood changes your life, the way it makes you look at things. Maybe you could address that a little bit. Were you afraid? What did you hear when you first heard?
Funny enough, it was something I first realized there was something going on in Mexico when we were down there for preseason preparing for those 2 games against Tigres, and I think like a lot of men just brushed it aside. Didn't really want to believe that it was a thing, or more so it was kind of like, oh, if it was a thing, it would be different. But the reality was it already was different. And then, with the focus of those 2 games, I think it was easy to put out of sight, out of mind, and then we had the come down. And after that second leg, there was a little bit of a shutdown before we'd start back up for the season. And in that quiet time of no training, no games, nothing to work for, it was the reality started to set in that there was something going on that I needed to get checked, and I was happy that I kind of got out of my own way. And I think a little bit is that conversation we were talking about fatherhood and knowing there's other things at play. So the younger Kyle probably wouldn't have been as smart, but one thing in my old age, I guess it's you got to learn to lean on the people who know more than you and go get things checked out.
Well, testicular cancer, of course, you talked about, I mean, obviously it's something that happens to men. You talk about men sometimes not wanting to face up to things or to know their own body and those kinds of things. Maybe you could talk a little bit about symptoms. I assume you want people to check things out. What kind of things should they be looking for?
I think I was the perfect example. I mean, I'd always think there'd be more symptoms. There simply wasn't. It was just, there was a lump that just wasn't normally there, and I just had to lean into that. I think when you talk about that early detection and finding out that diagnosis, it's a little bit of a why me? There's no way it could be me. I'm healthy. I do all this stuff, yada, 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 but this thing doesn't really care.
Are you taking treatment now? Maybe you could run us by, or
Yeah,
run by us
so
what.
I've gone through all the tests, and all the tests so far have come back in the right light, where we'd want them, which is positive. But as I said, I had the surgery 3 weeks ago, and right now we're just doing the biopsy phase of things and just waiting for that final thing to see if there is some further treatment that needs to happen, or potentially just the surgery.
Could you talk a little bit about Juravinski? I've had a lot of experience with that hospital, and most people who've been there for whatever it is, but primarily cancer treatments and analysis and diagnosis. I just can't say enough about the place.
Yeah, it was obviously, I mean, the speed in which things happen were incredible. The care in which they give and the resources that we have. Obviously, it's the side you don't want to see,
Right.
But I'm very grateful for the doctors and the surgeons there, and all the nurses and everyone involved who've taken fantastic care and given us all the information we need.
Whenever we hear the word cancer, and we have all kinds of nicknames for it, most of them kind of dark sounding, it's quite scary. What do you know about testicular cancer? You are actually just on the outside edge of the it's a 20, in general, the numbers affect men mostly between the ages of 20 and 35, roughly. Is that your understanding? And what else do you know about?
Thought it would have aged out a bit, huh?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, you talk about cancer, and I think it's a very heavy word. And even for myself, it's something that's obviously been a whirlwind, but I feel fine.
Right.
I feel healthy. Obviously, I've lost a body part, and you've gone into major surgery, and there's a little bit of that. I don't know if it's guilt, but cancer's a giant pool, and it's not a competition in terms of grief, in terms of, I guess, guilt for being on one spectrum of it than the other spectrum. But I think the thing that I've come to realize is this has touched so many people. I mean, even just digging into my family history, I have grandmas with breast cancer, which obviously was the obvious one, but distant relatives that have been affected by it, and just the amount of people that you cross every single day in their life. It's something that everyone's affected by.
Is your understanding the recovery rate, this is my understanding, is very high?
Yeah, I
for
mean,
this
hey,
cancer.
if you want to get one, this is the one I guess you want to get historically. So
Yeah.
I think the rate is something like 95%. Obviously, being something that's happened, I guess, relatively quickly and relatively new. I don't have all the numbers, but yeah, as you said, it's 19 to 35 is the age range in men, and the only thing I can say more than anything is the amount of people that I think that have been affected by it is pretty overwhelming.
I'm assuming, and let's reiterate this, you are telling men, get checked.
Absolutely. It's I think the biggest thing is if you feel something, just get it looked at. I mean, a younger version of myself for sure would have put it out of sight, out of mind. I think getting older, the thing that I'm the most happy about is that I just spoke up, because from the tests that we've done so far is potentially it just hasn't spread anywhere, which is huge. So it's contained, so get the surgery done. It's pretty quick, and it is a thing, and if you get checked and it's nothing, that's even better.
Day to day, are you able to maintain any kind of physical strength, or do you have to rest? What is your situation in terms of taking care of your body? And
yeah, it's a little more rest than I would like, for being honest, but yeah, that's the name of the game right now, rest. I'm allowed to go out and do a couple jogs here and there. Never thought a boring 20-minute jog at a snail's pace would be the greatest thing of my day, but here we are.
It is, right.
Yeah.
And how have your teammates been? How did your teammates, and how did you tell them? How did you address them on this, and what has been the reaction?
Yeah, these guys are incredible, man, honestly. So I think I addressed them in pretty standard Kyle fashion. Why not? Obviously, from the time we figured it out and just coming back into preseason, I was actually just kind of get a little hip injection at the beginning of every single season anyway, so I was coming back from that, so I was already kind of on the outside looking in, but as that was ramping up is when we found this out, so the timing couldn't have been worse. But yeah, I was away from the group with appointments and doctor's appointments and things like that, and more than normal, so I felt it was important to just let the guys know. I didn't want to be, obviously, I was already in and out, and then going into surgery, I knew I was going to be out for a significant period of time, so I felt that it was important for the group to know, so just kind of let them know what it is. But the support right away was fantastic. I mean, I already knew we had such a good group here, but a little bit overwhelming at times that it really shows you spend so much time with these guys. We say it time and time again that we are a little bit more of a family than our own families at times. We have guys who are away from home for 8 months at a time. They don't get to see their loved ones, so we really lean into that. And sometimes it takes for lack of a better word, a shitty moment to really see how close these guys are. And honestly, the sport's been fantastic. I know they've had my back the whole way, and obviously I can't wait to come back, start playing, and be a part of the good things that we're doing here.
Is there anything to end this that you'd like to say to Forge fans, soccer fans, people in this city?
Yeah, first and foremost, just thank you for 7 fantastic years, going on 8. I'm extremely grateful for my time here. It's nothing that I take for granted. I think being in a team for this long is something you don't see very often. Being able to play in front of my closest friends, my family, week in and week out, jogging off the field for warm-up, looking up, knowing my dad's going to be there is something that I'm extremely grateful for. Yeah, my dad and my mom, for them being here week in and week out. Obviously now being able to share the pitch with my son is crazy. He's going home. He wants to know every single player on the team.
Yeah.
He knows their numbers, and that's doesn't necessarily seem real yet. I don't know if that's sunk in, but to the fans, thank you for everything you guys have done, all the support since day one. We're just going to come back. We're going to get a little stronger, and we got more work to do.
Yeah, to be clear, you're hoping and expecting to come back and play this year.
Oh, I'm not done yet. I'll be back soon. Sooner than later.
Kyle Bekker.